Welcome back, FE12 Lunatic-Reverse 0% Growths, Chapter 13. We got 3 new units in the cutscenes after Chapter 12. Robert is a pretty terrible pre-promote, but Belf and Leiden are quite good after their quick promotions here. Note that Daros, as a Draco Knight, deals more damage with a Devil Axe than Minerva does with the Hot Claire, and Daros is considerably tankier. But Minerva is still the preferred choice in this map because her 15 speed prevents her from being doubled by the dragons who all have 17 speed. Daros and Belf both get doubled with their 13 speed, but Belf is also preferred over Daros today because he can use the C-rank Dragon Pike, while Daros cannot. Jeorge eats a Luck Bond, which is always exciting, and we have a pretty goofy looking forge on this one. We need a ton of hand axe kills from Pala, and plus 20 hit is actually crazy cheap. The plus 1 might is really cheap too. And it's an ironic name, since I've never seen Dorcas hit anything with a hand axe in my life. The chapter begins and we get right to work. Pala is still only at 79 hit, even after a plus 20 forge. That's sick, man. Leiden comes in with his excellent 22 speed as a Swordmaster and doubles this dragon with our forged Wormslayer. There's too much enemy coverage around here though, so we'll have to heal Leiden back up with physics. Now, Marth needs to recruit Beck in the far northwest corner, so that's why we're pushing towards the west here. But there's an absolutely essential spirit dust in a treasure chest on an island to the far northeast. So how the hell is Julian supposed to get up there fast enough for this 8-turn clear? I think I'm just going to have to use the Thief Staff, honestly. Jeorge lands just the right amount of damage on counter, and avoids being doubled with his base 14 speed. Unfortunately, this Dark Mage is out of range of Leiden, allowing Pala to kill quite easily. And rather mysteriously, this first pack of wyverns doesn't have any sound effects this turn. I don't know what that's about. Leiden has a 43% chance to crit with the Wodow, so with 2 swings with 100 hit, he has a 67.5% chance of killing this barbarian, which is actually a higher success rate than if we loaded him with strength shards and tried to double with the Devil Sword. He did need Gemini to beat stat variation, or I could have used the Killing Edge instead of Wodow and then given Pala Gemini for a cheaper forge, but the 10 fewer crit on the Killing Edge would have really sucked, so I didn't want to do that. I said Jeorge did just the right amount of damage, and you can see it for yourself. Pala exactly kills with our forged hand axe, and finally hits C-rank axes, just in time for chapter 15. Pala needed to get this kill at 2 range, because look at the range of the incoming enemies. We can't get Fina or a healer any farther to the right than this. For the first time, I actually appreciate the benefit of plus 5 hit from C-rank axes. That 84 feels so much better than 79. We've got more problems to deal with though. This dragon needs to get pulled right away, and these wyverns have pretty chaotic movement that's very hard to control. So we'll pull the dragon with Minerva's 15 speed just out of range of the wyverns, and then try to entice the wyverns to come more south than east with Marth and Belf. And again, Julian is forced to move in the wrong direction from that spirit dust. I really don't see how he can get to it by turn 8. That enemy thief stole a dragon pike, which I do not care about, and Minerva avoids being doubled as discussed. Pala does Pala things, and, well, one of the wyverns is in a good spot. Now Pala gets in position to pull the Dark Mages north of us, and Kor gets her topped up after trading her the plus 2 Might Dragon Pike, which she could have started the chapter with. Whoops. This dragon kill is more perfect than it looks. Remember, this river tile costs Leiden 5 movement, so we were just barely able to set up his previous kill where he could reach this dragon now. But no matter what I did, I could not get both of these wyverns to arrive on the lower side of the river, meaning no one can reach this upper wyvern except a flyer, so I had to just take this Killer Lance crit. C'est la vie. Etzel is able to get the closer one though, and I failed to mention until now that Wendell with Excalibur is not an option for killing wyverns in this run, because he will get super overkilled by the reversal mechanic. The movement of the wyverns is definitely the most frustrating aspect of this chapter, and most of the time in my testing, the next 2 wyverns will have at least one fly onto the upper piece of land here in a spot that's unreachable from below the river. So I need to get Jeorge across the river now. But that requires putting him in range of the Dark Mages. However, the Luck Bond removes the 2% crit rule from Jeorge, and the Pure Water puts his resistance above Pala's, causing the Dark Mages to run face first into her hand axe. And Minerva came over to give a little support bonus to Pala's hit chance. Now Marth finally recruits Beck, who at the very least brings us 11 sword, you gotta appreciate that. Leiden goes for the Wodow Showdown again. What a champion. And you can see why I needed Jeorge to already be up here for this wyvern. Julian is finally able to safely cross the river, but it's already turn 4. There's just no way he can reach the Spirit Dust by turn 8. I'm going to have to use the Thief Staff. And remember that magic classes can't cross river tiles, so no one can reach Belf here, meaning we have to use a Physic. It happens. Minerva's 15 speed comes in clutch once again, allowing her to chunk this dragon without being doubled, and Belf's high strength lets him finish it off with just a base Dragon Pike. Now this is the single solitary reason I forged a +2 Might Dragon Pike. Every version of this strat ended up needing Pala to one-shot a wyvern. And the reason it had to be Jeorge killing the upper wyvern instead of Pala is that I need Pala in range of Fina, so that Pala can also kill the last dragon. And I want to point out the cases where both wyverns are reachable from the lower land. At least one of them is still in range of Jeorge on the upper land, like he's just near the river, which is to say that this Luck Bond Pure Water Misdirect strat covers every possible case, as far as I can tell. That enemy thief got away with the stolen Dragon Pike, but I honestly could not possibly care less. Now Marth and Fina both need to start heading for the gate. Belf hands off a stack of Vulneraries to Pala to avoid using any more Physic, and she gets in position to pull the dragon guarding the Spirit Dust. But what's the point? Julian can't possibly reach it in time. Oh, okay, I guess Fina's been managed perfectly to end up where she can cross the river and dance Julian near the edge of his range. That's pretty good. But I still don't think he's going to make it. I'm going to have to use the Thief Staff. There's just no way. If you've seen my vanilla hard 3 run, you may remember the Rivers of Life healing station, the staff rank grinding factory. We're certainly bringing that back. Marth continues on his way to meet up with Fina, and Beck drops a save for us because Pala needs to land 2 70-ish hit attacks, and it's GG if she misses. She's not healthy enough to survive reversal though, but we can avoid a Physic use by using a Vulnerary over here where Fina needs to go anyway, and now Pala can do Pala things. So okay, it's safe for Julian to keep going with the dragon out of the way, but who cares? There's only 2 turns left, and he still has to cross the water to get to the chest. You'd have to actually be goated at this game for this to work. I just don't see it. He's not even close. The Rivers of Life flow freely, and Minerva heads off to the remaining save tile. Marth is in the perfect spot for Leiden to get a steel sword from the convoy, which he could have started with, but I thought he needed these Vulneraries for some reason. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Marth makes it onto the water, as does Fina, and she helps Marth get in position for the C's next turn. Pala also gets in position and heals up, but now Julian would have to get in the water this turn to make it. There's no way. Let's see, 1, 2, 7. Oh my god, he's gonna make it! I can't believe it! All jokes aside, it is pretty amazing. What happened was, I started with a 10-turn clear that was just an adaptation of my hard 3 run, which very easily got this Spirit Dust with Julian. I was really unhappy with it, because the whole thing was too easy. The commentary was boring, and then I realized if Lunatic-Reverse ZPG is too easy, then you're not going fast enough. So I worked on it, figured out this 8-turn clear, but I was certain I'd have to use the Thief Staff for the Spirit Dust, which would absolutely destroy my gold economy. Doable, but terrible, you know? So I spent a few hours on it, trying to make it work with Julian, and just fucking barely got there by an inch! Now Minerva's gonna drop that save for us, so Pala can crit the boss with a Killer Lance that Belf just traded to her. Now Julian does indeed finally nab that Spirit Dust for us, and a Dance Extension gets Marth to the gate for us to seize here on turn 8. 2 turns faster than my vanilla hard 3 run. Let's fucking go. This chapter went from being one of the worst to one of my favorites with this strat. I honestly can't believe I pulled it off. Thank you very much for watching this one.